to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. I did take a brief hiatus due to the holiday, 4th of July, and observance. So I took about 2 or 3 days off. Welcome back again to my channel. I'm going to be doing a celebrity reading, psychic reading on Ariana Grande, and covering different things that I see for the remaining of 2018, 2019. For her. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in real quick into what I see. So with Ariana, for those of you that may not know who she is, because you have to consider my audience, I do have a lot of people who maybe don't listen to her music. They're from different generations. Ariana Grande is an actress, and she is also a singer. And she's well known for her singing, and very popular and whatnot. So when I get into Ariana Grande's soul, I feel like she's very conflicted. She's reaching a point now that she's much older, where, she kind of, there's this sort of like repressed energy that she would have been experiencing from, I guess, from, when she was younger and acting. There would have been some issues around her where she felt like she didn't have control over her career and she was just being told what to do. In so many ways now, I also feel like she was bullied at one time. I don't know her personally, but this is what I'm getting from Spirit when I'm channeling messages. And I get that she would have been bullied a lot and shamed, there would have been some shaming, on her image and what she portrayed back then versus now. But I think a lot of people lose, the fact that Ariana Grande is not a little girl. She has grown up into a beautiful woman. And so she's not the same person that she used to be. She has, grown. She's wanting to experiment. She's someone who is, you either love her or you hate her. And it's sad to say that, but that's kind of like the energy that I get from her compared to other celebrities. She has said some things over the course of, her career that were a little controversial, and she's still judged by that by a lot of people. But, at the same time, we all make mistakes and we grow and we grow from them and continue. But I do get with her that there's this certain level of, like, some people would call it, just being very outspoken. But I feel like genuinely, she puts this strong face or appearance in public, but when it comes down to her and her private time and, spending time with her family and her friends, she's entirely an entirely different person. So it's almost like two different people. The spotlight character that we see is the singer, the performer, and then Ariana Grande, the chilled out version. The one that's more relaxed, that's goofy and loves to have fun with her family and friends. And that's kind of like the personality that she has. But there is this vulnerability. I wanted to talk about the attack that happened in Manchester. Really and truly, I do feel like that really did change Ariana Grande in many ways. It really changed her perspective in life. And it really, there was some emotional trauma and scarring that she would have had. I feel like she did go through some therapy. That is what I'm receiving from Spirit. So I don't know, like I said, about her. I don't read anything about her in the tabloids, so I don't know. But I haven't, I'm getting from Spirit that she would have gone through some counseling because that's pretty traumatic, when there's mass murders, attack in your audience at your concert. And she did, many things for Manchester in the UK, and she did a lot of, giving back to the families, spending time with them, talking to them, everything that she could to raise money and support, for them. But at the same time, in the back of her mind, I feel like she has this fear, which she hasn't really overcome, even though she's still working on it. But in the back of her mind, there's this fear that she has that, this could happen again in one of her concerts. So I feel like for the most part, there is going to be a point in her life where she may stay away from touring in concerts. Again, I don't know why she would, because I feel like this won't ever happen again to her. But again, there's this certain sense of, you have to understand when somebody goes through something traumatic, you're bound to feel that way. And until, you go through something traumatic in your life, you may not be able to relate to her. A lot of people would think, oh, she has bodyguards and stuff, but people are crazy out in this world. Trust me, they are crazy. And there's a lot of crazy people that will do things that, senseless acts of murder and senseless acts of just hurting people for no rhyme or reason, just because they are, either on dependencies or they're just evil. There's just different aspects to souls right now, but the world is vibrating in a very chaotic place. When I do get further into her soul, there is also, like I said, this emotional sadness that she, is constantly holding on to. So I do feel like she does suffer from depression. I'm getting that she does have some form of depression. I also get that she would be struggling with her weight. This could be something that a lot of people could, be relating to in the world. If you're struggling with weight, it has to do with body image and how much you love. And I know that she's probably, this is something that's not been said in the media. She may have, denied the rumors, but I feel almost like there is an eating disorder. And that's what I'm going to just say, and it's no disrespect to her, but I think, in some ways she puts this amount of pressure on herself, and even though she, there may be a time in the future where she comes out and she actually, talks about this and her having some trouble with her weight. It's not that she can't gain weight. That's not what I'm getting. I just get that she's very restrictive with food. Yes, when we see her on TV or we've seen her, on, people that seen her, she may be eating at that time. But I feel like there is some kind of disorder that she would be grappling with right now. It's nothing to be ashamed about. She's a beautiful woman. It's just, I feel like there's a vulnerability behind this that would be triggering um, this disorder. And I feel like it can have effects later on with her health. Anemia would be one thing. Again, I'm not diagnosing because I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, but these are just intuitively what I would pick up from her. And I get that, anemia would be one thing that she would need to watch out for. I feel like it runs in the females, like her mom would have had something like that, or her grandma. Also bone issues, weakness of the bones, specifically like around, the back, the knees, the feet. I also get that she, you know, she has a little bit of trust issues when it comes to people around her. And again, this is going to be stemming from a lot of things that happened to her early on in her career, a lot of backstabbing and stuff like that. So she's very selective when it comes to the people that surround her and the people that she's going to, choose to have some type of association with. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into her love life and see what I see there, because there's a lot of questions from a lot of people about her relationship with, let me get into the next slide, with Pete Davidson. So it's very intriguing. When I get into their souls, I actually don't feel that they are meant to be together. I know that's so ironic, and people that would be listening to me, would probably think I'm crazy, but I just don't see it. I don't see the soul connection. I don't see them lasting, uh, at all. Yes, there's rumors that they've been engaged. If that's fact or fiction, I feel like, when it comes into Pete's energy, he is someone who is funny. He can be funny, but he can also be kind of self-destructive. And I feel like there's a destructive type of energy around him. I feel like he can't really express how he feels all the time. I feel like he is a risk taker, and sometimes his choices may be poor choices that can have repercussions, even though at this point he may have not had that. I also see some legal issues coming into the forefront with him for the remaining of 2018, 2019, and a little bit beyond. There is something legal coming up around him. I feel like his temper is almost like bipolar. It shifts from one moment to the next. And there is a point where if they were to get into an argument or something, he could lose his temper. Not that he would turn physical, but it would be more verbal. But there's a tendency here. I just feel like there's, if she was to pursue this, there would be a lot of sadness later on. I also feel like there's no loyalty. He has almost like the bachelor type of mind, even though yes, he is with her, and a lot of people would be saying, you're wrong, this is wrong, you're wrong for saying something like that. But souls don't lie, people. When I tune in, I'm not just reading energy, I'm reading souls, and that's what I see. And I feel like he still has a lot of maturity to reach. She is still growing, but she has a lot more maturity than he does. So I honestly, I just don't see this relationship lasting very long. If they were to go get forward to get plans to actually get married, it would be a very short-term marriage. But again, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I feel like there's things that she's going to be noticing over the next couple of weeks and months, things that she doesn't maybe like about him, but for the most part, since she is his girlfriend right now, she may be supportive of it, but I don't see that relationship lasting, and you can quote me on that. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. If they, like I said, if they do get married, I don't feel that relationship is going to last long. Um, and I feel like, her parents, even though there's tabloids, saying that they're very supportive, I just feel like they kind of, are on the fence, and they really are trying to not meddle in her, her own personal life, but they are giving her some kind of pointers. I also feel like her management team is like, Ariana, this is the wrong decision. Don't go forth with it. Don't go and get plans, in your head to get married. You're going to ruin your career. And I feel like this will be a setback. If she was to get married with him, this would actually be a setback for her career. So she's a very smart young lady, and I feel like she is going to definitely be considering, all of these factors, and they're replaying in her head, and she's going to have more revelations over the next couple of weeks with him. It's like she already knows how he is. I feel like he can be a little, trepidatious and sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Reckless. That's the kind of mentality and the kind of energy that I'm getting from him, from his soul. Um, you know, he just doesn't give a damn. I was just gonna say that he doesn't give a damn about what people think about him, and what he does. He's just living his life very, very much so in a manner that can be deemed self-destructive and just impulsive. I feel like when it comes to money, there's also a problem there with him where he may not be able to hold on to it too much. Um, he also would have some kind of dependencies, whether this is smoking, drinking, or substances. But there is something definitely that pulls his energy away from this. His attention away from his pain, because he is the type of person, he deals with it in a lot different manner than Ariana would. I feel like he kind of plays it off as a joke. He'll go out, party with his friends, listen to music, go riding in his car. That's kind of how he would be dealing with a lot of his energy and his feelings whenever he feels chaotic and he's just not in a good mental space. But yeah, I just don't see that relationship working out for her. I feel like they're totally not meant to be together, but for some reason, they are. But whatever that reason is, I feel like sooner or later this relationship will be dissolving, and Ariana would be single, and then eventually meet someone else. But that is what I'm getting. I'm also getting around her that her album is going to be, it will have success. Um, she is going to be going into acting again. I feel like that is something, people want to see her acting, but what has me more concerned than anything, I see that around her music career that there's going to be this big halt. And when I say halt, I mean like there's something going to be around her vocal cords and damage around her vocals. Even though she, can sing, and she's, I feel like at some point she's going to be developing, if she hasn't already, nodules, because when I'm tuning into her, I'm actually taking on the symptoms of what would be, like vocal nodules when I'm talking. I'm feeling a lot of pain, and as a medium, I kind of can tune into that. So I'm feeling a lot of pain around my vocal cords with her. I feel like there is some kind of damage already sustained. So she's had to change keys and change notes. Again, I know nothing about music other just than the basics. But I feel like she definitely is going to reach a point where she's going to have vocal surgery or some type of procedure to remove nodules from her vocal cords. And this may be something that's kept more under hush hush, but if she does take a musical hiatus for 2 or 3 years, in the near future, this would be one of the reasons why. But I feel like her voice is evolving, and again, she's sometimes overuses her voice and the vocal cords. This is why I feel like when she first came out, she did a cover of Mariah Carey's Emotions, and she hit all the notes, that Mariah did, but when it comes to her doing it live, she doesn't. And I feel like the reason that she doesn't is because she knows that it can cause damage on her vocal cords. But I also feel like at the same time, there could be some reasons why she doesn't do high or whistle notes live in concerts and live performances that much, because again, I feel like she has already sustained some type of damage to her vocal cords and to her voice. So her musical style is changing a lot. I also feel like that's one of the reasons that a lot of people feel like she mispronunciates words, or she doesn't enunciate enough when she's singing. And it's not so much that she's doing it on purpose or that's her dialect. It's more of her vocals. There's something wrong with her vocals. And again, my throat is hurting where the vocal cords are. So I don't know if they're going to announce that within the next year or so, but just stay tuned to that. Again, if you're a fan of her and you're listening to her music and whatnot, you would be tuning in and seeing her vocal style has changed. There's a lot less vocal prowess and gymnastics going on. It's more basic, more studio oriented, and it's more where you can sing along easily and not trying to replicate a high note or a lot of whistle, register notes. So that is what I am seeing for Ariana. I feel like she is going to be entering another scandal or some kind of where she's going to have to defend herself, something that she says. So she just needs to be very careful over the next couple of years. I feel like, again, she's growing, but I feel like there may be something that she says that triggers, the public and the people that tune into what she's saying, and could have adverse effects on her career. So just that's the only negative thing that I see, really, if you want to call it that. But she does move away from that and does get, on the other side of that. And overcomes that. But just definitely, she just needs to. It's just something, that I am getting, and I'm just, releasing that. But something that she needs to work on. But other than that, this is what I see for Ariana Grande for the remaining of 2018 and beyond. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading with me, you can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. And all of these links will be listed in the description box below. Have an amazing day. Blessings of love and light.